Mention the number 666 today, and the association is immediate. It conjures images of apocalyptic doom, heavy metal album covers, and horror movies. We treat it as a universal omen of supernatural evil, but the original source of the number tells a specific story. In the book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 18, the text gives a very precise warning. Let the one who has understanding calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. The author was asking the reader to solve a math puzzle using Gematria, an ancient system where alphabet letters hold specific numerical values. When you write Nero Caesar in Hebrew characters and add the corresponding numbers, the total comes out to exactly 666. To the early Christian community, the beast represented a literal living threat, the Roman Emperor Nero. He was a ruler notorious for his brutal, violent crackdowns against their growing faith. In the first century, 666 was a covert survival tool, a secret political cipher allowing an oppressed group to criticize a tyrant without execution. Today, it is a loud, public badge of rebellion. To see how a hidden code became a global cultural icon, we have to look to 20th century England. Meet Aleister Crowley. He was a British eccentric, a prolific writer, and the person responsible for hijacking this ancient cipher and rewriting its meaning. Crowley was born in 1875 into the Plymouth Brethren, an intensely strict Christian sect. He spent his early years chafing against rigid religious expectations. During one particularly heated argument, his deeply devout mother angrily branded him the Beast 666. She meant it as the ultimate condemnation. Crowley took it as a compliment. He embraced the insult completely, eventually adopting the Greek title to Mega Therion, which translates to the Great Beast. He wove this persona into Thelema, a new spiritual system he developed. Thelema is a philosophy centered on the pursuit of one's true will, the idea that every person has a deep, authentic purpose they must discover and follow. He summarized this in his directive, "Do what thou wilt." To find this true will, Crowley practiced what he called magic, intentionally spelling it with a K to separate it from stage illusions. Magic is a highly disciplined system of meditation, ritual, and symbolism designed to alter human consciousness. Crowley rarely identified with the traditional devil. He adopted the title of the beast as a psychological inversion, taking the symbol that his mother used to terrify him and claiming it as his own. In the early 1920s, Crowley moved his operations to Cefalù, Sicily, establishing the Abbey of Thelema. It functioned as an experimental retreat where his followers could explore their spiritual boundaries away from the judgments of British society. The experiment derailed when a young follower named Raoul Loveday died at the Abbey. Historical records suggest he contracted an infection from drinking contaminated local water, but the tragedy provided the perfect opening for a scandal. The British press seized the story. Newspapers printed wild rumors of sinister occult ceremonies and animal sacrifices. They quickly crowned Crowley the wickedest man in the world. A conventional religious leader might have sued for defamation or begged for public forgiveness. Crowley used the press as free marketing. He actively cultivated the villainous myth, knowing the outrage would only increase his profile and draw more seekers to his work. During one libel trial, when questioned about his use of the number 666, Crowley casually told the court that the number simply represented sunlight. He suggested they could call him Little Sunshine. In that courtroom moment, Crowley effectively disarmed a 2,000-year-old threat. He turned a prophecy of doom into a brand asset, using 666 to openly mock the moral panic of the public. Crowley died in 1947, but the persona he engineered was calibrated for the future. When the anti-establishment cultural revolutions of the 1960s and 70s arrived, young people looking to shock their parents found Crowley waiting for them. His integration into the mainstream was cemented by the Beatles. On the cover of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, Crowley's face sits right in the back row, taking his place among a collage of the century's defining historical figures. The rock musicians of the 1970s dove even deeper. Jimmy Page, the guitarist for Led Zeppelin, became a devoted collector of Crowley's writings and artifacts, deeply drawn to the archetype of the rebellious, rule-breaking magician. By the 1980s, heavy metal bands like Iron Maiden completed the cycle. With albums like The Number of the Beast, They took Crowley's theatrical provocation and scaled it up, turning biblical dread into mainstream stadium rock. A number that began as a terrified whisper, scratched in secret by persecuted Christians, now travels through concert amplifiers to millions of cheering fans. Symbols carry no inherent power. They hold only the meaning that society chooses to assign them. Through one man's calculated defiance, 666 escaped its ancient prophecy to become an evolving testament to the human desire to challenge authority.